Okay, it looks like I'm live. Testing out some new features here. I'm not sure if I like this, but we're gonna go with it. Just check and see if I can see myself. Hmm. Okay. There I am. Okay, cool. Cool. I got my chat going. Okay. What's up, y'all? It is a super soul check Sunday, for lack of a better description. Soul check Sunday, I think, is what I've been calling my live streams when I come in on Sunday. So shout out to you for joining me on Sunday if you pop in. This is a quick check in just to kind of help my goddesses who are on their natural fibroid elimination healing journeys with starting their week off right on the right foot, so to speak. Starting your week off, priming your body to maintain shrinking fibroids naturally. So, Sunday, I'm coming to you with a mindset hack as you move into your new week, as we move into the fall months. The equinox is on Tuesday. I wanted to come to you with a topic that is super common with some of my clients, and that is the um, thinking that, or the mindset that fibroids run in my family. I hear that a lot. Well, my mother had fibroids and my aunts had fibroids, or my sister had fibroids, or my girlfriends had fibroids. Or they say black women have fibroids statistically. You hear that a lot. Um, I'm here to kind of help you stop buying into that, which is something that I personally had to do in order to set myself up for success and actually get to business with shrinking fibroids. So if you have any questions at any time, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out if I like StreamYard. So I don't really know where to go to make sure that I can see the questions, the chat, but I do have my laptop on. So actually, let me see if I can type something. I can't. So if you have a question, if you have a problem hearing me, type something and let me know. But this is going to be a quick way to help you get started shrinking into the next week. I like to call it shrinking thinking, okay? Because that's really what I had to cultivate in order to see the outcome that I wanted, and that was the fibroids shrinking, and one of them actually fell out. So, breaking the cycle. This is how to break the cycle if you are under the impression that fibroids, quote unquote, run in your family. First, it involves you understanding that a diagnosis is not permanent. Just because a family member had fibroids, particularly the mother, that doesn't mean that you have to automatically. My products are not, they should be available to ship in Canada. Yes, SJ, I can. I don't know why they're not. I should have international shipping. So I'm gonna have to go check that out after I get off of here. But either way, if it ever says it's not available on Etsy, we can still set up the order through PayPal and I can ship it to you that way. So if you want to actually send me a direct message with your contact info so I can let you know and follow up with you, SJ, on my fibroid teas and whether I can ship through Etsy to you or whether we'll have to go around and do it separately through PayPal or something, let me know. Message me either on here or email me fibroidfreedom@gmail.com. I'll get my tea to you one way or another. Okay. So thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for the feedback. What you want to do, first of all, is be open to the fact that nothing is set in stone if you have family members that have had fibroids, have had a history with uterine fibroids. That doesn't automatically mean that you have that same sentence. It doesn't have to be like that. Um, like we have free will when we hear about patterns and readings and that kind of thing, and humans, we always have free will to go down a certain road or to follow a certain trajectory in our lives. Just like that is a true phenomenon. Another phenomenon is that you can change um, patterns in your family. You can change medical history that is common in your family. You don't have to accept someone's diagnosis over you. I'm really big on saying that. I think that just hearing it starts to unlock what it needs to unlock in our brain so that we can wake up eventually. Even just hearing it now, if it doesn't make a lot of sense, the fact that you hear someone saying this to you, it almost is like a break in whatever pattern might be there. If you have a mother and a grandmother and aunts that have struggled with fibroids, just know that, first of all, you don't have to have the same health outcome, and you can change it. So we're going to talk about some ways that you can change it. Number one is being open to the fact that you can be the change. Number two, the second part of that same um, first bullet point is sometimes you need to look at fibroids from a positive perspective, not like, yes, I'm glad I have fibroids, not like that, but more like utilizing the situation that you're in to polarize you into positive action. So I personally, when I had fibroids, used the situation I was in to activate my inner warrior goddess. Yes, I did. Yes, I went through, and I don't want to misconstrue. There were times when I felt defeated and I felt um, hopeless in the beginning, but I didn't let myself stay there. You know, we've all been through situations where we've dealt with loss. I personally lost I lost my boyfriend years ago just after I got rid of fibroids. My boyfriend at the time passed away. So I've been through grief. So my thing with grief and with feeling like we're rock bottom, which is how some of us feel when we're dealing with the symptoms of fibroids sometimes. I've been there. I just didn't stay there. So you don't want to stay in that energy and feel defeated and feel like you don't have any options. Know that there are options. You just have to do what you're doing now. Listen to other um, people that have alternative opinions and alternative therapies and have done alternative work to shrink fibroids and to reverse sickness and disease, right? So knowing that you can change and transmute energy, you can shift it and polarize it into activating your inner warrior goddess. Um, take the role of being the change agent in your family line. Know that everything is energy. Everything is going to respond that concerns you in your universe, or what I like to call your womb-niverse. Everything that concerns you is under your command at any given time. If you choose to give the command, if you choose to give it attention from your throne room as the goddess, as the warrior goddess that we are activating, that throne is always there if we choose to open the door and go that route. Again, that route is you choosing to go a different direction, change your trajectory. So you're activating your inner warrior goddess by going in that throne room and saying, I'm going to be the change agent. And by being the change agent, you're going to start to change things that apply to your family line, that apply to your ethnic and cultural experience as a member of your family, as a member of your clan. And you're going to substitute and tweak them to make it work for you so that you can shrink fibroids. And by that, I mean foods is a big one. Um, a lot of things that we face health wise, fibroids, high blood pressure, blood sugar and diabetes, cancer, sexual dysfunction, anything that you can talk about with your health, a lot of these patterns um, are identified medically and described as hereditary. Now, what that means is they're saying that if your family members before you and your ancestors had certain um, health issues and things that they faced, you're probably going to face those same things. And that's kind of what we're talking about. But rather than accept that, overstand that you can look at the commonalities of what is specific to your family line, your culture, your ethnicity, and make changes. And one of the biggest areas that you can make great change is through your cultural ethnic ancestral foods in the way that you approach food and the way that you eat. So a quick example of that is, especially in the Black community, especially they love to say Black women are the most susceptible and Black women are going to have the most uterine fibroids for whatever reason. Sometimes they list reasons. Sometimes the statisticians will say, I think it's statisticians, the statistics will say, you know, over this many percentage of Black women will deal with and will face uterine fibroids. It's like they're already pre-programming Black women who don't even have a history of fibroids. I have another beautiful goddess that is in my Facebook group, and if you're interested in joining the Facebook group, search for Womb Hang Clan on Facebook. I have a little Facebook group that I have there if you're interested in joining. But there's a goddess in the group, and she doesn't have fibroids. She has no fibroids. She's very active and participates in all the challenges. But she thought she did. She thought she had fibroids, and it's probably from the brainwashing and the pre-programming that the statistics are trying to lead everybody who fits a certain social background and cultural ethnicity down into that type of thinking to prepare you to already start developing it and accepting that energetically when you don't have to. So change your diet in the ways that, for example, like I said, with Black people, Black women, soul food. Figure out ways to, if you like soul food, because maybe, that's not your thing. I know there's some aspects of some types of soul food I like. There's some things that I don't like. I don't like potato salad. I do love collard greens though. But again, figure out with your types of foods that are specific to your family, if you have a history of fibroids in your family, to find substitutions that are healthier and that will support your body shrinking fibroids naturally in those foods, or don't eat those ancestral foods. You be the change agent by choosing to make those changes, and knowing that food is one of the main reasons why we're able to say disease and sickness is hereditary in families, in ethnic groups. It's because a lot of the same foods and patterns of living and eating are being passed down and not questioned and not changed. So be the change agent and choose to break the cycle in your family line by making better choices, finding substitutions. For example, a good one is rice. There's a lot of rice across cultures. This has nothing to do with Black people or what. People love rice throughout different backgrounds. But we know rice is high in starch. And for uterine fibroids, rice is probably not the best option. Higher, white, thick, sticky food types like starch, like breads, like pastas, are going to go inside of your body, and they're not going to easily be filtered out. They're going to stay and stick and have some physicality there that will form and allow fibrous tissue and whatever else the body used in the form of your waste to stick to that and grow and feed fibroids, right? So you know that if you like red beans and rice, you need to automatically make a substitution to red beans and quinoa, or red beans and collard greens. Leave out the starch altogether. But a big thing that you can do that's really an easy shift that you can make to break the cycle is by looking at some of your foods that you eat, that you grew up eating, that our parents eat, that our grandmothers, grandmamas, granddaddies, uncles, aunts ate. And when you go and gather with your family, you're going to see those foods there, the cornbreads, I don't know what ethnic foods, you eat, or what cultural foods you're used to eating, like a lot things that are bready and like empanadas and all that kind of stuff. Figure out a way to make those to where you still get um, a feeling, a satisfying feeling of that type of food, but make it in a way where it is shrinking fibroids. Like another example is bread. If you have to have bread, experiment with making your own spelt bread, your bread out of spelt flour. That's a alkalizing grain that is going to help your body to maintain a higher alkalinity and less susceptible to sickness and disease. You may also want to look into um, a more higher protein containing grain to make breads out of, or leave bread out altogether, right? Be that change. If you have to cut some stuff out, just cut it out. I know I made a lot of changes because I got sick and tired of being sick and tired with the symptoms of the fibroids that I had at the time. You know, my family doesn't eat the worst, but there were definitely, and there still are definitely times where I face when I'm at the dinner table, times where I can make the wrong decision and eat something that I know is going to feed fibroids, or I just refrain from eating it. You know, if your family eats a lot of meat, or and you know you shouldn't be eating meat, don't eat the meat. Um, Mushrooms were a huge, regular, and still are go to for me to wean myself off of needing to feel like I had to have meat or I was missing meat. And I think last night, the night before last, my family made some dinner and there was a lot of grilled meat. They grilled out. I didn't eat any of the meat. I just had some of the beans, I had some quinoa. If you don't want to do that, have a nice salad on the side, but you have to start taking the initiative to make better choices and change your trajectory when it comes to fibroids. That's how you break the cycle. And that is also, I guess, since we're talking about patterns in your family line, you know, you are changing, and we're starting to get into the discussion of um, epigenetics a little bit and DNA, because when you come up scientifically, I guess is the right category. If they were to look at you where you show up in the DNA strand, you're going to be the under the microscope part where new patterns are made. Different types of healthier, newer cells are generated in that family line. And it does start with something like food. Because believe it or not, when we put plants, living foods in our body, they are encoding our cells with a new message. And the message with fibroids is that fibroids have to go. And fibroids don't have anything to feed off of that's going to make a nice, comfortable environment for them in your womb, if that makes sense to you. Um, the second thing that I have that I can suggest to you for breaking the cycle with uterine fibroids is to start to gain knowledge about who you are. And when I say that, I don't mean who you are as in, well, my name is Cecily Simmons, and, you know, I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is my mom. Yes, that's partially what I mean, but I mean more on a spiritual level, a metaphysical level. Learn more about the true nature and origin of yourself as a human being in this realm, as well as universal laws, and understand that the more you're aware of who you are as far as knowledge of self energetically, you open up a whole new set of tools, a whole new arsenal of tools for how to not only make it in this life, but thrive in this life. And that is in terms of sickness and disease. Once you start to have more metaphysical knowledge of your spiritual self, of the connection to the physical body, to your spiritual body, to your luminary field, and what foods you can eat to enhance that and raise your vibration, and knowing and choosing to give attention to existing, with giving attention to energy, you start to be able to see that there's a lot more options as opposed to just accepting a diagnosis or accepting a sentence of some sort of a sickness and disease just because our family members had it. So if that sounds like a whole nother language or just something that you are not familiar with, then do things like you're doing. Watch videos by people who know about energy and knowledge of self, and get into sisterhood situations, meet and talk to other goddesses like myself, like my group that I mentioned, Womb Hang Clan, on Facebook, and start to learn more about energy, and that you are also energy and how we're all connected. And look into things like services like womb reiki, which is something that I offer, where we explore the energy centers or chakras of the body as well as the chakras of the womb. And we do that to look further into what and where in your womb the imbalances are in existence. That is very powerful, and it's highly sophisticated when we talk about shrinking fibroids. when we talk about boosting fertility, when we talk in terms of getting rid of anything that has to do with the womb, really, first and foremost, endometriosis, PCOS, problems with sex, that kind of thing. But also, this is helpful womb Reiki, womb energy healing, and looking at yourself as energy and your womb as energy. It's helpful because it also relates and shows you connections that correlate to the areas where there may be imbalance, where there may be confusion in existence in that womb chakra or in your body chakra in your everyday life. So that is a crazy, amazing, precise service that I offer. And I do recommend it. You know, if you're interested in something like that, if that sounds like something that can help you, I implore you to utilize it. It's a lot of um, very finite work. It can be done through distance. We don't have to be in the same room, but literally, you can be relaxed in the comfort of your own home or sacred space. And I can go in and look at your chakras and identify where blockages are or imbalances are in existence. And we discuss them and we discuss what's going on in your life. And we use that to have a more sophisticated way to shrink fibroids and manifest life mastery. So I encourage you to look into things like that and just research things about your chakras, about energy, raising your vibration, and apply that info to your womb and to what you're putting inside your body. But usually, if there is a pattern, quote unquote, a so-called pattern of a history of an illness, sickness, and disease, you can be the change. You can be the point in your family line that breaks that pattern. All right. Another part of your knowledge of self and understanding is knowing that there is a such thing as an ancestral womb lineage. Just like you think about your ancestry in terms of your family line, like my great grandmother, my great grandmother, and I got my father's mother, which is my grandmother, and her great grandmother, or my grandfather, all that, right? Energetically, that is a real phenomena. That is a real chain in terms of your DNA that can be spoken into and healed. You can go in and heal, shift patterns of negativity, patterns of trauma, where we're talking about things like, well, this was the type of thing that my great grandfather dealt with, and his son dealt with the same thing in this way, and my son now has anger issues because of this and this and that, or abuse, or anything where we're talking about a permeating pattern of behavior with a group of people. It can be shifted and it can be reversed. You don't have to accept just because you're in the same bloodline with people, which we love dearly, right? But again, this knowledge wasn't always made to everybody. So it's worth hearing that you don't have to just accept what is being spoken over your bloodline just because you're in the family with people who dealt with something. You can be the person that changes that. You just have to know what work to do and put the work in and do that, and understand or overstand that when you step into your power as a warrior, when you step into the entitlement which you should have about yourself, knowing that it is your birthright to heal and to be whole and to be harmonious and be that for your family as well as other people, everything that concerns you will respond to you. It has to respond, because the creator designed things, once you know about knowledge of self and energy, in your world, to respond to your command. So I think that is kind of in a nutshell what is necessary for you to start to kind of get that patterns and statistics don't have to apply to you. But it's really important. This may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. And it was something that I had to get mentally really fast when I was diagnosed with fibroids. I had to get over the sadness and the defeat and recognize that just because a doctor, I don't care what title anybody has, and this is not a diss to doctors, right? This is just to help you get your mind right, because it ain't got nothing to do with dissing anybody. It has to do with you knowing and owning your power and your birthright and your connection to source. and knowing the power of your connection with your third eye chakra and crown chakra to the ethers, and that they will respond. Okay. It sounds a little magical. It's because you are magical, and plants are magical. When you put that energy into your temple, you can do magical things the more that we do that. It's just that it's not discussed enough from that perspective. It's not really that it is foreign and wow, a crazy phenomenon. It's just that it is not discussed in terms of science and things that we have been conditioned to think that are everyday mundane things. It's really just another part of our existence here. But light has not been shed on looking at ourselves and our relation to the universe in this on this topic and in this way enough. When you start to shift and realize that this is just another aspect and extension of the power that you have here, things will respond. So that is really it. I don't think I have anything else to say about that. It's really just a quick little thing. If you need some assistance, if you want to get some tea, there should be a link where you can go to the Etsy and get some tea. If you want to do a womb energy reading where we do a quick um, little example where we get together on the call, and we can do it on Zoom, or we can just do a regular phone call and I can kind of give a quick assessment in about 30 minutes or less of what I see happening in your womb chakras. That's kind of a mini read. And you can kind of assess with what is being said to you, with what you're seeing in your life. I can recommend that if you just want a little teaser. And then if you want the full, let's get started, you're ready to do the work, I would recommend a womb Reiki energy healing session. Doesn't matter where you are. Send me an email, fibroidfreedom@gmail.com. As always, you know that you can keep up with me on Instagram. It's on the screen at OP Fibroid Freedom. And then make sure you subscribe to me here on the YouTube. All right. I hope this helps you get your week started off with shrinking fibroids naturally, with your mindset primed for shrinking thinking. And I will talk to you soon. I'm sending you love. And you know, if you're on my channel, anywhere on the internet's your family. So love and peace.